Hi, everybody. This is Joel Kahn, medical doctor, preventive cardiologist, and your host of Reversing Heart Disease Naturally Summit, coming at you again in 2024 with my co-host, Dr. Joel Furman. Exciting. Well, all over the media outlets around the world has been an announcement by a pharmaceutical company in Europe that's very exciting. Just to set the stage for you, a drug was introduced about 4 or 5 years ago called semaglutide for type 2 diabetics to improve their diabetic control. It was released after research under the name Ozempic. The drug works for type 2 diabetes, but it proved to cause almost unexpected weight loss that many of the patients actually enjoyed and were excited about. So Novo Nordisk went back to the drawing board and did a large study in non-diabetic patients that were overweight or obese, and found that the drug can be used in non-diabetics, weekly injections, and causes significant weight loss. It's called a GLP-1 agonist, and the drug was released under a new name with a slightly different dosing schedule called Wegovy. We've had that for a little over a year, and it has been a frenzy. Some people are predicting up to 90 million Americans may qualify for those injectable drugs. This week, Novo Nordisk released a press release. They completed a study called the SELECT trial in over 17,000 overweight and obese individuals without diabetes using Wegovy, but they were looking at the risk of developing heart events, things like heart attacks, need for bypass, need for stents, hospitalizations, and dying suddenly. And they have announced that there was a 20% drop in cardiac events in the group on the active semaglutide that was not previously reported in non-diabetic patients. Big buzz, big headlines. However, this was a press release. The preliminary data and the full data have not been released. This is not peer-reviewed. This has not been published in a journal. Let me give an example, because a 20% reduction is called a relative risk reduction. If 1% of the people on the placebo and 0.8% of the people on Wegovy had cardiac events, that's a 20% drop. But it represents less than 1 person in 100 who's going to benefit taking the expensive injection. But if it's 10% rate of heart disease in the placebo and 8% rate of heart disease in the treated Wegovy group, then that's an absolute reduction of 2%. And maybe it's more than that. Maybe it went from 20% to 16% relative reduction, and that's a 4% absolute reduction. So that's the way scientists look at these. We don't know. We don't know if it's too early to get excited. There certainly have been some complications with this drug: pancreatitis, gallstones, nausea, vomiting. Recently, a few rare cases of stomachs not working. And even the anesthesiologists are noticing that patients that are taking Wegovy or Ozempic or are scheduled for surgery and are told to stay without breakfast that morning, because this drug slows down the emptying of the stomach, some food may be in the stomach from days ago, and it may take a longer break off these drugs before anesthesia, if possible, to provide safety and not put somebody at risk for aspiration. Are they a miracle drug? I don't think so. Are they important? They clearly are, and we do use them at my Kahn Center for Cardiac Longevity in suburban Detroit, but very selectively and always combined with fitness programs, with healthy diet programs like a whole food plant-based diet or perhaps a Mediterranean diet. We've got to teach them good habits, because not all these people are going to stay on Wegovy and semaglutide lifelong. Hopefully, they'll be able at some point to manage it with lifestyle alone. All right, that's the update. We're all looking for the final published data so we can decide how powerful this is. I'm sure the company is going to apply to add extra labeling to their drug Wegovy that it's capable of reducing heart disease risk.